new from Signal 1 comes Nightmare Alley from 1947, directed by Edmund Goulding. This film noir was a movie that kind of caught me off guard, really got me with a sucker punch, drawn me in with its fantastically layered story, its wonderful characters, and its kind of quirky situation that it had about it. It was really endearing as well, and one of those movies that kind of crept up on me. Going into the movie, I didn't even know it was a film noir, and it wasn't apparent straight away. Didn't follow the simple trappings of that subgenre and kind of crept up on me in a surprising fashion. The story is all about Stan, a young person working within a carnival who has ideas of grandeur. He likes to try and manipulate people when he can. He's fascinated by Xena and her stage act of mind reading.
Xena, the miracle woman of the ages. She sees, she knows, she tells you all the innermost secrets of your past, your present, and your future.
And it shows you the tricks and how they go about making this so realistic, how they con everybody into thinking that they're actually psychic. And this is something that Stan really latches onto. Of course, there's Xena's husband, whom is an alcoholic. He's a washout who seems to be no hope.
Well, you're a fine one. Running off in the middle of the show. Xena was sore.
I couldn't help it. She's got me on a diet. 1 shot a day.
And as a kind of like foreboding sign to Stan of something that he never wants to get to, something that he never wants to be, that kind of washed out loser. He's going to be better than that. He's going to be a bigger man, a more successful man. But Stan's endearing. Stan is a character whom you want to succeed. You're never quite sure of his machinations. You feel as if he's genuinely all right, but some of the things he starts to do become a little bit less fun and a little bit more serious and dangerous for him.
You can't stand much more.
I don't care. I'm gonna do as I say.
You trying to kill him?
All he's gotta do is touch my hand.
And the real crux of the story becomes when he learns how to be that stage performer, how to read minds and read people, how with his wife that he garners through the start of the movie, how they work together as a partnership to really fleece everybody, and he becomes a big stage act.
The gentleman has a question. What is it?
The question is, will I feel better tomorrow?
And it's like a sort of rise, a success. You feel as if they've kind of been forced into a corner, but they rise above it and create a successful business, and you feel good for these people. But there's always that Icarus feeling of trying to get too close to the sun, trying to reach too far to achieve too much. And even though he is warned, things transpire when he starts to meet this psychiatrist, when he meets a woman whom is a more legitimate version of what he does.
Make a record of everything? It's a wonderful idea.
How did you get back in here?
I fixed the latch on the door when I went out. I wanted to get a line on you.
As they concoct a scheme to make money and to fleece people, to do things in a more criminal setting, the film really takes a turn. And I was just marvelled by this movie. It's one of those ones that slowly just draws you in, that makes you believe in the characters, want the characters to succeed, be a little bit wary of some other people, but ultimately you're hoping the best for these people. But there is some niggling thought in the back of my head when I was watching this that everything just wasn't going to play out right. It wasn't going to work out for these characters throughout it all. Now, I think Goulding does a wonderful sense of keeping the pace in the story flowing. His wandering camera looks terrific. The way he sets up his pieces where Stan is doing his mentalist act, where he is reading people, telling their fortunes, is wonderfully shot. It's always kind of slightly low angles pointing up at him, showing how grand a figure he is. The kind of stoic nature of Tyrone Power the way he carries himself with a confidence all the way through the movie, a kind of swagger, a bravado, almost a chip on his shoulder. It is wonderfully astute, and I do like Tyrone Power a lot. It gets a little bit hammy, I would say, in the last 10 minutes or so, but that's, you know, probably a performance that's been asked to go that certain direction. I think Colleen Gray, who plays Molly, his wife, is a underrated role within this movie. She is the dutiful wife, the one that's happy just to continue things the way they're going in a successful manner, to live the life that they have. And she's a much put upon character. She doesn't have that delusions of grandeur that Stan has, and feels almost like the kind of relegated wife character that you get in these movies. But she's, as usual, the brick and mortar, the thing that's holding Stan steady, who's keeping him solid, who's stopping him from running away with all his dreams.
You hear that? I told you that new stunt was all wrong. I told you.
Don't be a sap. This is the stuff she feeds the chumps.
It's when Lilith, the psychiatrist, comes into things that things take a turn. This is a woman who is almost like Stan. You know, these two sort of predators put together and deciding to work together, you feel that it's never going to come to anything good. The fruition of this relationship is going to be bad. There is the added pressure of throwing another woman into this relationship between Molly and Stan that you feel could really upset the apple cart, so to speak. And you just, or personally, I just didn't like this character of Lilith as soon as she came into it. She felt dangerous, unknown, an unknown entity that was going to shake up the success and everything that's going well for these people just now.
How much did they give you?
150 grand.
Nightmare Alley, which I really want to kind of talk about the last third of the movie, goes in a direction that I wasn't expecting. Goes in a direction that I don't know if I was particularly happy with, because of my glass half full kind of personality that I have, but one that feels very fitting. One that's foreshadowed early on in the movie, the one that's kind of laid out as must happen to these characters, which is a shame, but it's a great movie. I really enjoyed Nightmare Alley. I thought it was absolutely perfect. There's not a fault in it at all. It moves briskly, an hour and 51 minutes. It's got some wonderful characters and performances, from the carnival setting to the more nightclub setting of him doing his act and show, to the kind of rough and ready finale of the movie. I think it's wonderful, and one that I'm really happy to have discovered. Let's have a look into the disc, see if there's any extras on this, and we'll have a look and see what they're all about. So here we are, inside the Nightmare Alley disc. If we just go to the extras, you'll see that it's got two commentaries, one with writer and anthologist Johnny Means and film expert Michael Brook, and a second commentary from 2005 with film historians James Orsini and Alain Silver. On top of that, we have a stills gallery and the trailer, and to be honest, the two commentaries are worth the price of admission alone. So there we have it, Nightmare Alley from Signal 1. I think it is a must pick up. It is a fantastic movie. It is terrific in every front, and is one that I am so glad to have seen. So glad to have seen, knowing nothing about it. It just seemed to be the perfect viewing experience, and one that I utterly loved. I'd love to know your thoughts on Nightmare Alley. Man, I'm kind of curious if you've seen the remake that's just come out as well. Let me know in the comment box if it's worth checking out, or what you thought about this one, why you liked it or didn't like it. I would love to know. And of course, there's more content up here. You want to see more of my stuff, and if you have a brief second to spare, hit that like button, which does me the world of good. And if you really want to support my channel this year, you can join the Patreon or the membership program for as little as 99p a month, which is utterly amazing and really helps this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.